Good evening, everybody. Welcome to How You Can Still Experience Success in 2015. Hey, my first webinar for this year. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming along. I trust you'll all get a lot out of tonight, and hopefully have a few laughs and enjoy it as you come along. So if I could please just get you all just to type in something, just type in a hello and your name and submit that. Let's just make sure everybody can hear what I'm saying. So just be good to get the feedback from you. And again, if you've got any questions throughout the webinar, please, again, just submit those questions, put your name in and send that question off, and we'll cover whatever we can for that. So I trust you've all had a wonderful day. First day of the week, mind you, we're all winding down for that Christmas period. And what I'd really encourage you all to do is share on social media where you are at the moment. So let everybody know out on Facebook or Twitter that you're actually on this webinar, How You Can Still Experience Success in 2015 with Rolf Fuchs from Fuchs Coaching. So hopefully we'll get a few of you coming along and getting some of those questions together. David, thank you very much for coming along and joining us. Good to see you on the webinar. So we'll wait for a couple of more people to come along, and perhaps some of you can just type in there and let us know what sort of day you've had. Just see how we're going along for today. And Karen, welcome along, Karen. Good to have you on the webinar. Fantastic for you to join us. Thank you. So as I said earlier, my name is Rolf Fuchs. I have Fox Coaching. I'm a life success coach, and I'm all about trying to help people to get the most out of their life. A lot of people get really stuck. They're not sure what they want to do. I help you to get unstuck. I help you to actually get your passion back for life and come right along. And Joyce, welcome along, Joyce. Thanks for joining us tonight. So I've, as I said, I present life coaching courses and one-to-one coaching, and also group coaching sessions, either on the phone or in person. So I'll now, I've got a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to share with you tonight. So please sit back, enjoy. And again, if you've got any questions at all, type them into those boxes and let's move along. As I said, Rolf Fuchs, life success coach. There's another picture of me. Happy family man, married to the lovely Karen, 3 wonderful sons. So I like to bring in a lot of quotes into my sessions, and I believe that things that famous and successful people have said can bring a lot to us and can really help us. Not all quotes will sit well with everybody, but I think it's really good to find out what other people have done. So in the case of Winston Churchill, success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. So I think, the big thing that come out of that is really the courage to continue. A lot of people do get stuck with that. Oh, Anthony, thank you. Also welcome Anthony along to the webinar tonight. So that courage to continue, it's the people that can make a decision, that can stick with that decision, and they've got that courage to continue. Even though sometimes it looks like things are not working, things look like they're getting difficult, but that courage to continue is what gets people through and to make success. So I'd like to ask everybody, what's your version of success? How do you define success? Everybody has their own definition of success or several definitions of success. A lot of people will define it around money, around travel, around cars. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people get too caught up on thinking success is all around about the big dollars, the success in work. But there's so many areas that you can have success, really any area of your life. If you look at somebody such as Mother Teresa, success wasn't about gathering the big bank balance. To her, success was about helping those who couldn't help themselves. So if anything, Mother Teresa was a huge success. But if you try to compare her success to somebody like Richard Branson, their success comes along in two very different ways, but they're both very successful people in their own way. And welcome, Ross. Thank you very much for coming along tonight, Ross. Never stop, never give up, says Ross. That's right. And I think I've seen a lot of that in you, Ross. You like to get out there, you keep moving along. So, if anybody else has got any other their definitions of success, to me, success really is all about picking that goal that I want to achieve and really making it happen. Even if I don't make it all the way, if I get 3/4 of the way, quite often that can be success in itself. There's the old saying, if you shoot for the moon, even if you fall short, you're still going to be up amongst the stars. So set those goals big, set them lofty, and you will find success if you stick with it and you have that perseverance. So love to bring in the old Oxford Dictionary. The accomplishment of an aim or purpose is what they define as success. Also, the attainment of fame, wealth, or social status. That's one way of success, or the good or bad outcome of an undertaking. And if you look at those last two, as I said before, the attainment of fame, wealth, or social status, that is somebody like your great actors, your Leonardo DiCaprio's, or your big business people, Richard Branson's. But the good or bad outcome of an undertaking, somebody like Mother Teresa, who went out there in the slums of India to help people, she was very successful in doing that, bringing about that outcome. So, do we still have time to achieve success this year? Well, it's getting to the point where we're not so much counting down the year with the calendar, but with the with the watch, I think, at the moment. But even though we're so close to the end of the year, and it does become a very hectic time of the year for a lot of people. I know Christmas just can start to seem bizarre to a lot of people, but I think one of the biggest things you can do for yourself at this time of the year is to actually sit back and review your achievements for the year. Because it's amazing if you think back and think about what you've actually achieved, you might realize that you've actually done a lot more this year than you realize. A lot of people will focus at the end of the year in a very negative way on what they haven't got done yet. I actually got a very good friend of mine who's on radio, and I love getting his Christmas cards every year, Pat McGowan. And he sends out these great Christmas cards, and he puts in there how many people he has interviewed on the radio this year, how many events he's emceed, how many short films he's made. So all year he's obviously keeping track of this, but he does this fantastic review at the end of the year. So at the end of the year, he realizes just how much he's done. And it actually makes me a little bit envious, when you see all that. But then when I sit back and I think about the things that I have done, the obstacles that I've overcome, I realize that, yes, there's actually quite a bit that I've done as well. So it's very important to review those achievements that you've accomplished during the year. And I'd encourage you to be kind to yourself. You will have a lot of those achievements. Whatever's left, give it a priority. As I said, those negative thoughts come in there. Oh, I've still got to do A, B, C, D. Give them a priority. And it's very important to think about that. So we've got limited time left in the year. You still want to achieve something. What is most important? What can be held over to next year? Once you've prioritized those things, if it's just not important anymore, just dismiss it. When you're prioritizing, write them down. And if it's not important, just put a big line through it. Let your subconscious know that this is no longer important to you. So you're telling your subconscious just to throw it out, and that will actually take a lot of pressure off you just by dismissing it and letting your mind know that, hey, I don't want to focus on that anymore. Write down your goals for next year. So whatever's left in your after you prioritize, whatever after you've dismissed everything, write those goals down. Written goals will help you to succeed so much more than those airy-fairy goals that are just in the back of your mind. Write them down, give them a time frame, Write down when you want to achieve them. And in fact, I can do a whole day on actually just writing goals and setting goals. So if anybody actually needs any help with goals, send me an email, rolf@foxcoaching.com.au, and I can get a fact sheet out to you actually that I've a little fact sheet that I've written up. I can get that out to you, but also I can work with you. Yeah, so if you'd like more information about that, just put a comment in the comments box and I'll get something out to you. This is probably the most important one, I think. Celebrate your wins. Quite often people don't give themselves enough credit anymore. We get so caught up in everything that we're doing and get so caught up in the things that we supposedly haven't done. But review those achievements, see the ones that you've won, see the ones that you've accomplished, and celebrate them. Even if it's just a little pat on your back, on your own back, even if it's just going to your family and saying, hey, I've actually done quite a bit of good stuff this year. Yeah, let's go to dinner, or let's just go and take your wife out for a well-earned coffee, get somebody else to look after the kids, and just celebrate it with something simple if need be. It doesn't have to be an elaborate celebration, but find those wins and celebrate them. So they're my 5 points there for still achieving success this year. If you do that, you'll find what you do want to finish off this year, and it'll give you the impetus, and it'll also give you the importance just to get that tied off, even if it's a matter of just finding what you want to do, but just setting the building blocks in place so that you can go and finish it off next year. So for family and work balance, I'd recommend that you picture the family life you want. Again, so many people get so caught up in the day-to-day. We get so caught up and we think that we don't have the time for anything. What we don't do is picture the life that we actually want. So picture what you actually want to do with your life, with your family. So if you want to spend more time with your kids and you're lamenting that you're not, picture what you actually want to do. Picture those walks in the park, or playing in the park, throwing the ball with your kids. Get a picture of that and you'll actually start to do something towards it. Review your goals. Are your goals mainly around family, or are they mainly around work? In that case, why do we have family? Yeah, Karen. A very busy day in a new role as service leader. I've seen that. Yeah, you've been quite busy of late. And your questions, lovely idea. Thank you. And as we come up to Christmas, some of those goals will be, picturing what we're actually going to do as a family around Christmas time. So if your goals are mainly around work, I would question that you'd actually need to sit back and put a few more goals around your family. It's important to have those work goals, those career goals, because yes, we all do need to pay the bills. We do want to have those little luxuries in life, and work is the way we do it. But if it totally comes at the cost of our family, is it really worth it? Make and take opportunities to be with your family. As I said, picture what you actually want to do with your family. I know myself the other night, I was about to sit down and do a whole bunch of things, and Karen and my youngest son Mitchell were just going to go for a bit of a walk, and they invited me along. And it was actually worth just postponing what I was going to do and go for that walk, because the things that we talked about and just how relaxed I felt afterwards were just priceless. I've had opportunities just recently just to be able to sit down with Karen and have a coffee. And it's funny, we actually get to know each other again. It's really good to actually have that conversation. So sometimes we need to make those opportunities, but when we do see them come up, just take them as well. Take that 10 or 15 minutes out every now and then and just be with your family. Spend that time and with the ones you love, and let them know that they're actually important. So tonight I'd like to share with you 5 principles for success to lead you into next year. So what you've done now is you've reviewed what you've done this year. You've actually given yourself a pat on the back because you've done more than you actually thought you had. You've set aside, you've thrown out what is no longer, what is no longer important, and you're making goals for next year. So these principles for success you can use, you can utilize to make sure that next year is even more productive than 2015. And then when you go through that review process at the end of the year, you'll feel even better about yourself than you do this year. So 5 principles for success. First principle really is know your outcome. It's like any journey. If you don't have a destination in mind, how do you know when you actually get there? So if you don't know what you're actually trying to achieve, if you haven't defined what the outcome that you want is, then you've got no way of knowing that you actually have achieved it. So like any trip to Melbourne, you want to get to Melbourne, because if you don't know where you're going, you take any road and you'll get nowhere. So around that outcome, you need to develop absolute clarity around that. So you need to be totally clear where you want to go, what it is you actually want to achieve. It's somewhere beyond goal setting. It's not just an idea of where you want to go. It's something very definite. It's something, if it's important, it's something you should write down. It's something you should give a date to. And something that is really important. And if you write that down and you are clear on where you want to go, your decisions on how to get there, on how to achieve it, all of a sudden become so much simpler. Because any action you want to take, then you can ask yourself, will this move me towards my outcome or my desired outcome? And that normally becomes a very simple yes or no answer. And if it's not going to take you towards your desired outcome, don't take that step. If it's going to take you towards that desired outcome, then take that step. Again, it must be precise. A goal of having more money, hey, come and have a coffee with me. I'll give you 10 cents and you've achieved your goal. But if you actually set a dollar amount that you know you want, either in income, from your job, or certainly, I want X amount of dollars in the bank because then I've got a deposit for a car or for the car that I want. That is being precise. If you're just saying, I want to save for a car, again, you could get $100 together. I'm sure I can find you $100 car somewhere, but are you really going to be happy with that $100 car? Write it down. I've already said that. Goals that are written down are far more likely to be achieved than goals that are not. And there's a number of reasons. By writing it down, we make it firm in our minds. And again, we go back to that subconscious. By taking that action, we're letting the subconscious know that is something that's important to us. But more importantly, it becomes precise. It's something that we can go and refer back to. It's something that we can read every single day. So we write it down, put it somewhere where you can see it every day, and it doesn't move. Because those goals that we just keep in the back of our mind, it's amazing. It becomes like Chinese whispers. By the end of the week, the goal that we're telling ourselves is totally different vastly different to the goal that we set early in the week. So don't allow Chinese whispers to sabotage your success. Write down those goals and make them specific. As also, when you're writing those goals and you're coming up with that outcome, there's something that I'd like to call well-formedness conditions. And I will go into that a little more. Actually, I'll explain that because it sounds a little bit airy-fairy, but I'll give you some explanation of that. So that's the first principle of success. Know that outcome. So well-formedness conditions, when you're writing down those goals and you're defining those goals, they should be stated in positive terms. So always state them in a way that you're moving towards something. If you want more money, state it in a positive way that by the 30th of June, I will have $500,000, $500 in savings. Well, let's make it $5,000 in savings. If you make it a negative thing and say, I will have less debt, it's a very negative term. So you want to state it in a positive way that you are going to have positive coming into your life. They should be initiated and maintained by yourself. I can set all sorts of goals, but is that goal going to motivate you? How motivated are you by other people's goals? I can only really be motivated by the goals that I want to achieve for myself. So I need to initiate, I need to maintain those goals and those outcomes that I want. I can sit down with you and help you to define those. I can help you to get your mindset around those, but ultimately it will be your goal. And quite often we do need that help to achieve, to find out what we actually want to achieve. Sometimes we're sort of very airy-fairy, as I said, about what we want to do. So sometimes it is good to sit down with somebody and help them clarify with you what you actually want. But it has to be your goal, and it's something that you need to follow through. Make what you say specific and sensory based. Give it a description and all the steps that you need to get there. So use all the senses that you've got. So talk about seeing the outcome, hearing the outcome, whether it, particularly if it's something like learning a musical instrument or whatever. Picture yourself. Listen out for what you actually want to achieve. How does it feel? So make it ecological. What do I mean by that? Yeah, it doesn't have to be recyclable. What I mean by that is it should be good for the individual, but it also should be good for the whole. So if your goals are going to start tearing down other people and causing problems for other people, that's not ecological. It should be something that is not going to hurt others, because you are going to come up across a lot of problems with other people if they're not. But also, you can rest assured in yourself that what you're doing is quite good. It's not hurting anybody. It's not hurting you. So make your goals ecological. And try to set out more than one way to get to the outcome. Always have another way that you can go, because we set these goals, we set our outcomes, and often things will come up in our way. We will get roadblocks, we'll get things come up in front of us. But if we can find ways around those roadblocks, then we are going to have much more chance of achieving those goals. And make sure your first step is specified and achievable. So know what you're going to do in the first instance. How are you going to start it off? And make sure that that first step is achievable. Once you start taking that first step and you've achieved it, you'll actually give yourself a lot more encouragement to move ahead. If you make the first step insurmountable, you set yourself up for failure, really. So make that first step quite easy, something that or not too easy, but something that you can achieve, but make it specific. And ask yourself, does this actually increase my choices? If this is something that restricts you, that ties you into pushes you into a corner, blinkers you, is it really such a good thing to be chasing? Or is it something that's going to actually increase your choices and give you more variety in life, the variety that you want? So that's a bit of an explanation of well-formed conditions. And just an extra tip for that for success principle, I always like to say, build a good team around you. Find those people around you that'll help you. There are plenty of people that want to tear us down, but find the people around you that'll actually pick you up, that'll actually help you. And in this day and age, the things we want to achieve, often it's very difficult to achieve a lot of those on our own. So to have a good team around you, people that'll help you and that you can help them achieve their goals, have that good team around you, you'll find you'll get a lot more success and you'll achieve a lot more in life. So have an idea, have a bit of a think about that. Who could you put around you at the moment to help you achieve those goals? Type those into the I'd love to see your answers. So, put your name in there, put in there, ideas of who you'd actually like to, who could actually help you achieve different things. Back to one of my now happy quotes, Henry Ford. Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. And I think Henry Ford is probably one of the best people to talk about that, with working together with success, being the father of modern engineering, modern manufacturing. And well, it came to the fore again this year. Well, Mark Whittlebottom winning the drivers' championship in the V8 supercar. So well done, Frosty. So I think Henry Ford would be proud of him. Second success principle: take positive action. If you do nothing, what can you expect to achieve? So you need to take action. But again, the imperative word there is positive. Make sure it's positive action. It's moving you towards what you're trying to achieve. Oh, thanks, Karen. Karen wants me on a team. Thank you. Sorry, I was just having a look at that. So yeah, take that positive action. With that action, do whatever it takes. Again, within reason, make it legal, make it moral, but do whatever it takes. Take the actions you need to take to make these things happen. Do it with integrity. At the end of the day, if you're going to end up in jail, or if you're going to end up with no friends over the actions that you've taken, is it really worthwhile? So do it with integrity. Importantly, be consistent. Consistency is probably one of the biggest parts of this. If you are very haphazard and I'll do a little bit of it tonight and in a couple of weeks' time I'll do this, and then, well, what results can you actually expect to get? So you need to be consistent and keep that moving along. Martin. So Martin has asked, do you think we should be principle-centered? And the example is, write our mission or goals or principles and use that as a guide. Look, I think that's a great idea, Martin. Again, as with the principle-centered, as I said, do it with integrity. Yes, do whatever it takes, but do it with integrity. And I know Martin, and when Martin talks about principles, I know he has very high principles. So if you're doing it with integrity, you again write those mission and goals and use those principles you have as a guide when you write those goals. Because if you're being consistent with who you are and you are being showing great principles, again, that will come out in the actions that you take. And if you use that when you're actually setting your goals and the outcomes that you want, that is what will come out. You'll set that with those principles in mind, then you'll take those actions and you'll take those actions with your principles in mind, and it becomes again just second nature. And when the different things come up, you'll very easily identify what is actually consistent with those goals, with those principles, and you'll be able to dismiss very quickly what isn't and include what is. So great question. Thanks, Martin. Stay passionate. Passion is so important in achieving our goals. In fact, if we're not passionate, why are we bothering to do it? And I see it every day in so many people, and they lack so much passion in what they're doing, and they just tend to trundle along day by day, and there's no passion, and they don't really achieve anything that they really want. And Ross has just asked, to build a good team around me, I'm looking to join a professional association to get some specific support and find people to help and to be helped by, help Team Ross, help Team Ross, sorry, we will have fun. Yeah, and again, look at the integrity of the association that you're joining. Is it an association that has the same sorts of principles that you live in with your life? So, and Ross makes a really good point there. It doesn't have to be a person that's part of your team. It can be an organization. It can be an association. So if you want to get better with those public speaking skills, find an organization that's good with that, or find a company that has high principles, that does teach these skills, that becomes part of your part of what you do. So stay passionate, bring that passion into what you want, and that will give you so much more motivation. And also it'll bring people along with you, because we tend to follow those people that are passionate, that are keep following, make it really exciting. So stay passionate and you will bring those people along with you. And along with being consistent, stay focused. Keep that goal, keep that what you want to achieve in mind, stay focused on it. If we don't focus on it, we tend to allow all the distractions in life to take us off on different tangents. So if we stay focused, if we write those goals down and we review them and we stay focused on them, we will tend to take the actions that we need to take to actually achieve what we want. And we'll recognize the actions that won't help us, and we can dismiss those different distractions as they come along. And importantly, just start. How many people are gunners? I remember somebody in year 5, and the teacher named him gunner because he was always going to do this and he was going to do that. And he didn't start anything back then. I know I've caught up with him later in life, and he's changed that attitude. He's not a gunner. He does do a lot of things now, but there's still a lot of people out there that are going to do things and they just don't start. If you don't start, you're not going to achieve anything. So that's the second success principle. It's all about taking positive action. Pablo Picasso said, action is the fundamental key to all success. So as I said, if we don't start, we're not going to get anywhere towards our goal. If you don't get into the car, you don't start it and drive out of the driveway, you're not going to make that trip to Melbourne or Brisbane. So, I'd love to see what actions that you guys are going to take as a result of this. So, type in an action that you're going to take in the next week and send it off to us. I'd love to see that, and I look forward to reading a few of those actions out. The third success principle: have the sensory acuity to notice what's working and what's not working. So see what is actually working for you. Pay attention to the results you're getting. So again, if you're focused and you know where you're going, you'll see what's actually working. So you'll see the results you're getting, and are those results actually what you want, or are you getting negative results? So use all your senses. We're given all our senses. So when I talk about the senses, I'm talking about the visual. So what you see. So have a look at what results. If there is a physical thing that you can see what's coming along. Auditory, listen out. Use your ears. Kinesthetic. Now this can be in two ways. This can actually be feeling like touching, but it's also the feeling you get inside, that sense that you get. And quite often that sense will tell you or help to guide you whether you're moving along well or not. Olfactory is your sense of smell. And well, we won't go into that too much, but sometimes the results will come out in that. But gustatory is your taste. So your learning process is about trial and error. So if you make a couple of mistakes, don't beat yourself up. If the results aren't coming in perfectly, learn, have the sensory acuity to know that, okay, it's not the way to go. let's make this a learning lesson. So the learning process, it's all about trial and error. Give it a go and see if it works. And if it's not working, if it's just absolutely not working, stop. Don't keep doing the same thing over and over just to get the same result. So if it's not working, you notice that and then take some different action, change the course of action. And it may just be, might not necessarily need to do something totally different. It might just be a slight course correction that you need. So Jim Rohn said, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. And I think that is so true. Formal education, yes, we can learn to get a job. We can go out and do whatever. Self-education will make you a fortune. So learning doesn't finish just as we finish school. In fact, I think some of the greatest learnings we have are actually outside of the formalized education. The school of hard knocks, the school of life, however you want to say it, but learning should be a lifelong thing. Read books. These days, you don't even need to read. You can get onto YouTube and there is videos on pretty much anything you want to find. I know that, my children, they don't tend to Google things so much, quite often as to YouTube them. They'll just type a question into YouTube to find an answer. But it's all part of learning. So be a student for your whole life and be a sponge. Don't ever stop learning. Don't ever stop that self-education. Now, your fourth success principle, have the behavioral flexibility to make changes as they're required. Quite often I've seen a lot of people, and I can think of a couple of people at the moment that don't have that behavioral flexibility. They keep doing the same thing over and over, but keep getting the same results. And it's really just not working for them. If they had their behavioral flexibility, they'd actually start getting different results because they'd be changing the behavior, they'd be changing the way they do things. So remember, flexibility is power. And I think we've seen that a number of times in politics in Australia. I don't want to get too political tonight, but we've seen those that can be flexible and those that are inflexible, what the difference has been. And flexibility in this day and age is key to success, really. If you look at the changes in technology, those who are able to adapt and be flexible with the changes in technology are the ones that are actually moving ahead. Those who are still trying to do everything, as you might say, old school, are actually being left behind. So flexibility really is power. So what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And as I said earlier, it may just be a slight course correction you need. It might not be a total turnaround. It might not be a total right angle bend that you need to take, but be flexible and make those changes where you need. You may take on the new technologies. You might take on those new apps to use in your business. One might not be the perfect app, but you've started off on it. Have the flexibility to move over to another app that'll give you the results that you actually want. And importantly, model someone who's getting the results you want. If you see somebody who is achieving those results and you keep thinking, oh, I'd love to get what they're getting, model them. What are they doing right? And I'm not saying you have to be an exact duplicate of them, but find out what actions they're taking, what they're actually doing to get the results they want. So modeling is actually a very important part of success. So there's the fourth success principle. So love to hear about any ideas, anybody that you'd like to model or that you think you could model. Somebody getting the results that you'd like to receive or you'd like to get. Just type that in and send that in to us. Love to get a few responses there. So, and just an extra tip on that 4 success principle. The person with the greatest behavioral flexibility controls the situation. And I've seen that quite often. You see people go off their head. They losing the plot. They get frustrated. They get angry. They get aggressive. But those who can actually maintain their calm, who can look at the situation and come at it from different angles, will ultimately control that situation. Or the other way, as I was told earlier in life, the person in the room who keeps their head while everybody else in the room is losing theirs will be the tallest person in the room. So Malcolm Forbes said, failure is success if we learn from it. Again, that comes back to the behavioral flexibility. It may look like a failure, but it's really, quite often just a way that it doesn't work. And if you look at Thomas Edison, reportedly that had 1,000 goes at the light bulb, and was somebody told him that he had 1,000 failures. And he said, "No, I just had 999 ways that it didn't work." And I'm glad he had the perseverance that to actually stick with it. We've got the light bulb now. So where would we be if we didn't have people with that sort of perseverance, but also that sort of flexibility? And if you bring that into your life, you can also achieve, so much more success and so many more great results. So the 5th success principle: operate from a physiology and a psychology of excellence. Now, it's important to have that mindset very strong, have that mindset very flexible, but also the physiology. The way we stand, the way we hold ourselves has a great bearing on our moods. So physiology is intimately linked to state and behavior, and a change in anyone is reflected in the other two. So you've probably all heard, just simply by sitting up, being more confident, or standing tall, not slumping, you will actually look more confident. You will actually feel more confident. So by getting that physiology right, you will actually get the psychology right and help yourself so much more. Martin's just come back with WD-40 actually had 39 failures. And that's a really good point. And that's I believe that's a true story. It just stands for water displacement formula number 40. So there were 39 formulas that didn't work. So good point, Martin. But again, there was that behavioral flexibility to change what wasn't working, but also that perseverance to stick with it and to actually get the result. So importantly, don't slump. As I said, stand up tall. If you're sitting all day, sit upright. Don't slump in your chair. Have a positive physiology, and that will help your psychology. Stand nice and tall. And from that, we can actually choose to be in a state of excellence. By getting our physiology right, we can actually choose to be happy. And you've probably all heard the examples of, you get the telephone sales trainings and whatever to actually smile. People, get people to smile on the phone when they answer a phone. And I think we've all dealt with, different phone operators, and you can tell when they're not interested in your call. It comes across in their voice. They won't be smiling. They're more than likely slumping in their chair, and it comes across a telephone line. And how important do you feel as a customer when you're treated like that? You can tell the difference when people actually want to speak to you. And I can assure you, those people, they are smiling, they're sitting upright, or they're even standing when they're talking to you. And they've got a very positive physiology, which comes across in their psychology. So it's very important. We can choose that state of excellence. So just got something coming in from Karen just now. Yes, thanks, Karen. She's told me to stretch my hamstrings. Again, that physiology. Yeah, I'm standing up nice and tall quite often, but I need to get those hamstrings stretched. Thanks, Karen. Billie Jean King might be a bit old for some in the room, but yeah, a very famous tennis champion. A champion is afraid of losing. Everyone else is afraid of winning. I think Billie Jean King, she really stood out in her day, but the the excellence that she showed in the physiology and the psychology made her an absolute champion of a day, and pretty much unbeatable in the day. So, just to sum up again, so the 5 principles of success. So, know your outcome, take action, make a positive action, do something. You won't achieve anything if you don't take action. So, have sensory acuity to know what is working and what is not working. So, pay attention to the results you're getting and see, are they the results you want? If not, have that behavioral flexibility to make the changes that you need to make to get the success that you actually want. And again, operate from that physiology and psychology of excellence. Set yourself up for success. Stand tall, sit high, and set yourself up for that wonderful success. So Andrew Carnegie said, there is little success where there is little laughter. And that is something that bears in very well for me. I do believe that is quite true. I believe in any situation, or in most situations, it's great to have that laugh. And I know, being a member of Toastmasters, the number of times we have a good laugh at a meeting, you walk away, you actually feel good, but more importantly as well, I've actually learnt something in that meeting because I am paying attention and I have a great psychology in that meeting. So have a bit of a laugh, and there'll be a lot more success come in your life. So I've got a challenge for you all. I'd love for you to pick an area of life where you have made a decision to achieve more success. So outline what actions you'll take to obtain that success. So pick 1 or 2 goals that you'll apply these principles to starting this week. So I'd love to hear that. You can either email me at rolf@foxcoaching.com.au, or you can type that into the box now and I'll get back to you. So let me know if you let me know those what you're actually going to do, what you want to apply these to, and if you'd like a fact sheet for this, let me know, and I can send out the fact sheet. So again, type into the box, and I'll get that out to you. I'll have those out to you by midweek. I'd like to offer a bit of a webinar special for everybody tonight, everybody on the call. So what we can do is we can evaluate an area of your life where you want more success. We'll identify how to apply these principles we've spoken about tonight to achieve that success. And it'll be a 1-hour in-person session. Well, as long as you're in the Sydney area, we'll make it in person. If not, we'll work it out. But a 1-hour session with me. And from that, we'll work together to create a 30-day action plan for you. And special price for that for those on the webinar tonight for $47. So again, type into the box if you'd like, if you're interested in that, and give me your either your email or your phone number, and I'll get back to you and we'll organise that for you. So special price for those on the call tonight, $47. Tonight doesn't just happen. Lots happened. As I said, this is my first webinar, and I'd actually like to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Mark Kite from the Public Speaking Skills Academy. Mark's helped me put together this webinar tonight. He's given me use of his equipment, his internet, and everything like that, and been a huge help. And I honestly say I can highly recommend Mark. I've been to his Perfect Your Pitch training session, 1-day training session, and it's an excellent session and huge value. So if you want to get your business pitch or your personal pitch going, I highly recommend speaking to Mark. So you can email him at mark@publicspeakingskillsacademy.com or just check out his website. But yeah, thanks again to Mark. Huge thank you tonight.
My pleasure, Rolf.
And highly recommend him. So any last questions? We're just about out of time. So if there's any last questions, if anybody would like to... So if anybody like to put any last minute questions into the box. But here we go. We've got something coming through from Karen at the moment. And Ross. So firstly, Karen. Oh, well done from Karen. Thank you very much, Karen. Much appreciated. The webinar whisperer revealed. Hey, Mark. Yeah, you might have heard a bit of whispering in the background. That's Mark just supporting me and giving me a lot of help there. And if we've got any more questions coming through, Karen. So no, keep those questions coming through. As I said, you can always check out my website. You can send me an email, rolf@fuchscoaching.com.au. And if there's no more questions coming through. Oh no, David Johnson. And I've got a great job from David Johnson. Thank you very much, David. Thanks to everybody that came along on the call tonight. It's fantastic having you along. I'll be running more webinars next year, so greatly looking forward to those webinars. And I'd love for you to, again, give a shout out on social media where you've been tonight.
Ross is just adding another comment for you.
Oh, awesome job, guys. Thank you. Thanks very much, Ross. So yeah, please put it out there on media, social media. I'd love to hear that. Oh, okay. Sorry, Anthony, Rolf, you're on my short list of people to surround myself with. Great advice on presentation, mate. You set a good example with your focus and passion. Fact sheets would be great. Catch up soon for some more around this topic. Awesome. Thanks very much, Anthony.
Does anybody else want the fact sheet? Since Anthony's requested it.
If
anybody else wants it?
Yep, send through if you want the fact sheets, either on the goal setting or on our topic tonight. It's fantastic. And I know, Anthony, you're doing some great stuff out there. It's fantastic. So got a quick shot of Mark. So if there's no more questions coming through, we'll call that a night. Again, thank you very much, everybody, for coming along. It's been an absolute pleasure being with you all tonight. Thanks for your support. And please put it out there on social media where you've been tonight. And I look forward to running some more webinars.
So what's your Facebook page that everyone can like?
Fox Coaching Australia.
Fox Coaching
So
Australia.
Go to Fox Coaching Australia on Facebook. Yeah, give me a like. And I'll take this opportunity one more.
David's requested both fact sheets.
Both fact sheets from David. And they're all still coming in. Yep. Anthony, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you, mate. All the best for 2016. Well done from Martin. Thank you, Martin. And yeah, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I hope Santa's very good to you. I'd like Santa to be real. So have a fantastic Christmas. All the best for 2016. Take these last couple of weeks to evaluate what you still want to do. And Karen, yep, I'll definitely get those fact sheets to you. So have a fantastic Christmas to you and your families. Please all stay safe. Keep your heads. Look for that success. And I look forward to joining up with you all again in 2016 and hearing more about the success that you are going to achieve. Thanks for coming along tonight, and good night.